Hi everyone, here is Timmy, and I have a special guest here, Natalie Roberts,
Hello.
and she is the author of Right Through Depression and the journal, which is really good because sadly, us creative people and writers especially, we tend to have this problem.
Yeah. I don't know why that is.
That's Well, I think because we are more sensitive, and that is why we tend to be more sad, and sadness tends to go into depression,
Yeah.
and that is why we can create because we feel deeper and we feel the entire spectrum of emotions, and that is why our writings and creations are deep and they can touch
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I agree.
So it has its benefits, but we have to be careful to not fall on the other side
Yeah.
of the depression. Okay, so let's start with
Okay.
introduce a little bit, talk about yourself and tell us where can we find you on the internet, what social medias are you on, what is the address of your website, and where can we find your books.
Okay. Well, I'm on both social media, but the one I use the most is probably Instagram. I seem to like that one better. Occasionally I'll be on Twitter, but I don't really seem to get much interaction on Twitter. I get it more on Instagram. And I'm not a fan of Facebook, but I am on there. I've got rid of Facebook a few times and then got it back again. But I think Facebook's terrible for mental health. You could get my books on Amazon. They were wide for a little bit, but I didn't see much difference in the sales, so I've put them back on Amazon and put them into KDP now. Because they did all right in KDP before. But I was just testing to see what works and what doesn't, and for me, sticking with Amazon seems to work better. It's actually Right Through Depression's actually free at the moment on Kindle. I've put it free until Sunday, so if anybody wants to download that now, they can. And my website is just natalieroberts.net, and then that says about all my books and previous writing, things like that.
And are you planning to go exclusive on Amazon to join KDP Unlimited, or is that the name of it?
Yeah, I will. I wanted to see what it would be like on the other platforms, but there wasn't really very many sales at all. So I thought if I put it in KDP, then at least you get the page reads and you get paid for that. So
yes, and I heard that if you go in Unlimited, then Amazon will promote your book better than if you are.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
So hopefully that a lot of people will read your book because it's really good, and we need it because we have to learn how to overcome depression, because sadly, not just in creative people, but it's quite wide, the entire world has. And
now as well, with everything going on.
Yeah, and especially now in this situation with all the things happening right now, I think a lot of people were triggered to have more accentuated depression. So yeah, it's hard. I know it because a few days ago I was in the same situation. It was so hard to accept the entire things, that especially that being self-employed, and I think that you are also, or do you have a day job?
No, I'm self-employed. My partner had a day job, but he got laid off today. So, yeah, that just seems to be happening to a lot of people now. So
yes. So it is affecting a lot of, especially small businesses are really affected. Okay, the next question is, how did you choose depression and let's say not mental illnesses?
You just froze there. I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I will repeat because then I think that on the internet others either couldn't hear. I asked how did you choose depression and not, let's say, anxiety or other mental illnesses?
Well, I've had depression since I was a teenager. I never really thought I had anxiety, but then recently I think I've had both. When I look into it a bit more, because they go hand in hand most of the time, don't they? And
Yes.
But at the time when I started thinking about the book, I was just thinking about depression because of my experience with it. And then I've been writing since I was a teenager as well. And the idea just came out of nowhere, really. I was just lying in bed, not being able to sleep as usual. And that's when the idea came, and then ideas for chapters, and they just seemed to come out of nowhere, really.
You were inspired by higher forces, may I say, or God or angels or other entities that wanted to, through you, to help others. So your book is a tool which can help others conquer depression. So, and if you mentioned that you had it, what did help you the most when you were a teenager to overcome?
Writing, really. That's my nan used to write a lot, and I spent a lot of time with her. She used to write for women's magazines and short stories for children. I think that just inspired me as well, because I liked listening to what she would write, and then I had to go myself and enjoyed doing it. But I've always been more attracted to the non-fiction side rather than fiction. I find fiction really difficult to write for some reason, but non-fiction, I seem to prefer that. And they're just writing about feelings and like journaling. It wasn't really a thing when I was a teenager, journaling. People did it, but it wasn't known about. You'd write in your diary, or it wasn't as out there as it is now. But it still happened. So
yeah, journaling became famous because psychology took it as a tool to express our feelings, and after that people got addicted to journaling, and hopefully that more people will get into it, because it really is good, because especially for those who don't have other people to talk to, and they need to express somehow their feelings to get rid of all the burden, and this is a wonderful way to get rid of it if you don't have others to talk to, especially if someone is shy, then this is a really good solution.
It can be hard to talk to people too, because you don't want to put the burden on them, or you feel like you're a burden even though you're probably not. You don't always want to say exactly how you feel to your loved ones or your friends, so sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger, or easier to write it down.
Yes, especially that a stranger and the journal are objectives. They don't get involved emotionally like friends or family who will sadly judge you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think that mental health is so important?
It's just the same as why physical health is important, really. You have to have the whole package. If one isn't right, then the other probably isn't right. And to be able to just function, you need good mental health. But times are difficult right now, and even the most positive people are finding it difficult. Never mind people who are already susceptible to being depressed.
Yes, and it is so important to have a balanced life, which consists of mental, physical, and emotional balance per total, because all the aspects of our life is important. But sadly, a lot of people pay attention only to physical problems, physical illnesses, and physical sickness, and they only try to cure those symptoms.
Yeah.
But mental and emotional illnesses are as important, because if you try to heal physically but you don't work at the same time mentally and emotionally, then it will not have the same effect. So it is important to work with both parts to heal completely.
Yeah.
Or at least be in a harmonious way.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 tips to prevent depression?
I don't know if you can prevent it, because I think everybody would be trying to do that.
Here I meant to fall into that deep depression when you don't want to get out of the bed, when you don't have the feeling to do anything, when you just want to sleep and cry. That is what I meant here, that prevent that kind of depression.
I think you have to find something that you like doing, because obviously we like writing, and I know you do craft things as well. I like reading, but there's lots of different things that people can do. But you have to pick something that you like doing and try and do it every day if you can. And I think keeping physically healthy as well, exercise, eating right. I mean, I don't like exercising. I'm not a fan of it, but I do walk sometimes. Not all the time. I should do more than what I do, but that's important too. And what you put into your body is important. Talking to people, if you've got people to talk to. Obviously, some people don't have anybody to talk to, and then that's where journaling could come in.
Yes.
Just getting your emotions out as you're feeling them, into something productive, I think could be helpful. And just giving yourself a break, really, because it's difficult. It's difficult to control sometimes, and you can have a good day and feel like everything's all right, and then you could have a bad day for no reason at all, or what seems to be no reason at all. So you just got to go day by day.
Yes, and it is really important, as you said, to take breaks and especially to have self-care minutes.
Yeah.
If you cannot have more than 10 minutes, but daily at least 10-15 minutes, it's really important to pay attention to your needs, to your inner world, and help yourself, because depression leads to burnout, and if we burn out, then we cannot create, because usually when we are in a negative state, then our creative flow is blocked. And it is important to prevent before we burn out, before we fall into a very deep depression. It is really important to take care of ourselves. And usually people tend to ignore this, sadly, but they should pay more attention. So, yeah. journaling is really one of the best tools because there are no expectations. You can write whatever you feel, you can write it as you want. No one will read it, only maybe you in the future, and that is. And creating. I love to craft, draw, and other kind. I just like to try all creative activities.
Yeah.
So, and without expectation, that is the most important. If someone starts to do something, do not have big expectations about the result. The most important is that you disconnect from thinking and you just be in the moment and let it flow. And this is another similar question.
Yeah.
If you already get into that state, what can you do to get out of it?
You've got to ask for help. Eventually, you are going to have to ask for some sort of help because it's really difficult to do it on your own. There probably are people who can do it by themselves, but I know that I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself, and that I needed to ask for help. And it's not. Some people think it's a sign of weakness if you need to ask for help for anything, not just depression, but it's not. And in the book, I say about if you've broken your arm, you'll go and get that set, or if you need some sort of medication, if you've got a headache, you'll take a tablet. It's no different, for your mental health. If you need some sort of help, medication or counseling, something like that, then it's no different to what you would go and get for your physical health.
Yes, sadly, people are too skeptical about these kind of things, especially in my country.
Yeah.
Here, people still think that only people who have really big problems go to therapists and counselors, but I think that everyone should go because everyone has problems, and it is easier, as you said previously, that it is easier to talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
And it is easier to open up to someone who will not judge you, because it's one of the requirements from psychologists. And they will keep it a secret because they have the obligation to not confidence. What's the word?
Confidentiality.
Okay. And so it's, and the other thing, sadly people tend to not ask. And in my opinion, asking is a strength.
Yeah.
And it is not a weakness as a lot of people consider it, because they think that they will burden others or they will be in depth with them, and that is why they don't ask. But that is a silly thing. You will have and get only what you ask for. Yeah. Because if you do not ask, then the answer will always be no. But if you ask, then there are two chances. There can be yes and there can be no. And they are the same 50% chance. But if you don't dare to ask, then always no will be the answer. So
you've got nothing to lose by asking for help either. So
yes.
Yeah.
Are you planning on hosting courses or workshops about this theme?
I have thought about it, but a lot of what I would want to talk about is already put in the book. If I thought of a different angle to come at it from, then maybe I might do, but I haven't got anything in the line at the moment.
Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert.
Okay. Because those who are more extroverts, they would do it because the connection between people,
Yeah.
it's different than just reading. Because
Yeah.
when you have a little group, let's say of 10 people,
Mm-hmm.
the questions can arise that not answered in the book, and you can help in that moment easier because you are there in person and or online. It doesn't have to be face to face. It can be an online course where you host, let's say, Q&As, and in my opinion, hopefully that someday, if you feel like it, you will have
Well, I quite enjoy
different.
doing this, so maybe I could do live streams or something on YouTube, because I do have a YouTube channel. I just don't upload to
Yes,
it
I saw it.
anymore.
But you haven't uploaded for a long time.
No, about 2 years.
Are you planning to come back to YouTube?
I did at one point, and then a lot of things happened with AuthorTube and people selling courses and things like that. It kind of put me off a bit, everything that was going on, but I might do. I might. I don't plan on doing it in the next few months, but I might come back.
What are your plans for, or do you have any plans for this period of home stay?
Trying not to lose my mind with all the kids here.
Free
Yeah,
children.
I have 4 children, but only 3 live
Oh,
with me. Yeah. My oldest son lives with his dad. But I want to get my next book written, which isn't mental health related, but it is about how to write non-fiction.
yeah, that is the next question.
Yeah. And I do have an idea for another mental health book, but I want to write the other non-fiction one first. I'm quite far into writing that one already.
I am really excited about that. I cannot wait to read it.
Hopefully now I'm going to be at home all the time. I'll get more time to write it now. So hopefully it'll be out by August, September, something like
Oh,
that. Yeah.
that's quite soon.
Yeah.
4 months,
I
something
do
like
have
that.
a chunk of it written already, so there's not that much left to do of that one. But I probably, with everything that's going on, it'll probably only come out on Kindle. I probably won't do paperback right now because of the cost. But Kindle is just easy to get it up there. So,
will you make a workbook for these two or just a textbook?
I have been thinking about it. I might do a separate one, so people who don't like workbooks can just buy the one which is just like the textbook. Because I know not everybody likes workbooks, but for Write Through Depression and Journal Through Depression, it needed to be workbooks. So
I love workbooks. I don't know if you heard about K.M. Wieland. Is that how you heard about her?
Yeah.
I haven't bought her textbooks, but I bought all her workbooks because I love workbooks so much, and I love just questions and answering questions.
I like them
Asking
too.
and answering. So yeah, and it helped me a lot. I love her workbooks. She's she's really amazing. I mean, I have all her workbooks about writing and planning characters and plotting and everything interesting. And what you said that you have in plan maybe another mental health book. What would be the theme of it?
It's going to be called the Truth About Depression. So it'll be talking about some of the lies that depression tells you. I did an Instagram question thing a couple of months ago, asking people what are some of the things that depression tells you, what are some of the lies that it tells you, and what do you want people to know about depression. So to be along those lines, trying to dispel some of the myths about it.
Oh, it's something like when you are in depression and you keep thinking about you are not worthy, or you do not deserve love, or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. You made me so curious. I cannot wait to see all of your books. Okay, since no one is here to ask questions, would you like to talk about something else? Or add something?
I don't know. I don't think I've got anything to say. I was going to show you the books in paperback if you wanted to see them, because I've got two different versions of this way right through depression, because one of them, that's the normal one, and then there's a large print one. So I actually prefer the large print one because my eyesight's really bad. So
bigger letters.
Yeah, a lot bigger. Because it's quite small, the writing in this one. It's standard size, but I prefer the bigger writing. I don't know. Let's see if I can put them together. See the difference. So there's smaller writing on the bottom and quite a lot larger on the top.
And how many pages is the difference?
Well, there is 169 in the large print and 129 in the normal one.
Oh, it's not that big a difference.
No, it's just easier to, in my opinion, easier to read because the font is larger, and then that's the journal through depression. I didn't do a large print of that one. That's just normal size.
Oh.
And then obviously just Right Through Depression's free right now. So if anybody wants to get it while it's free till Sunday.
Hopefully that people will get it. I downloaded so many free books these days. At least this is a good part of the whole situation.
Yeah. I know I've downloaded loads of free ones because everybody's doing it, aren't they? So I'm getting it while I can. I feel bad though because I will pay for them because I know what it's like to not be paid for it. But
if it is the first book of a series, then maybe they will love it so much that they will buy the next book. So it's a loss leader.
It's good business decision if you've got a series.
Yes. But if you got standalones, then that's a little bit harder. But this way too, if people download it and they like how you write and how your voice as an author, then they can become loyal fans and support you on social media and buy all your next book. So
hopefully.
Yeah. I'm a little bit excited about this year. I want, hopefully, if everything goes well, to publish my debut novel. And I really don't know so much about publishing, only what I saw and watched on YouTube. And now I took Sarah Cannon's course, Publish and Thrive, and that was, wow.
Good.
It has so many information that I wasn't expecting that I have to do. And now I am so scared.
Well, you'll do it. If I can publish a book, then you can.
But you are a native speaker.
I suppose.
So you are a little bit
very good.
I'm scared especially for that, because I understand English and I can read and understand everything, but I don't know how will the writing go. I am starting to translate my Hungarian book soon, and after that I am sending it to betas to help me out with the English. And I am scared if I am going to get it back with a lot of red underlines or something like that.
We all get it back with loads of red, so don't worry about that.
Oh, okay then.
Just I can speak really good English doesn't mean that I can write it.
Well, yeah, I know a lot of people who are Hungarian and they cannot write Hungarian correctly at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it depends how much people read, because that's how you develop your writing, how correctly and how many words you know by reading. There is no other way, because even if you watch a lot of movies, then you will get better at speaking. But if you do not see the word written down, then
you just need to find a good editor as well, and then you'd be okay.
Well, I don't know if I am going to use for my very first book an editor. I was planning to have my betters to help me correct it as much as they can, because right now I really don't have money for that.
Oh, it's expensive.
Especially living in a poor country. So
yeah.
But in the future, when I start to get a little bit of earning from my books, I definitely want to find a good editor. And it is you who has the ghostwriter or something.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about it, you can.
I've not really been promoting it very much, because I know that it's a difficult time for everybody, and the last thing people are going to be spending their money on is editing and writer services.
Yeah, who knows, in 2 or 3 years, when someone watches this video, we'll find you.
Yeah, so. Well, it's called Dragon Ghostwriters, and I set it up with my friend Rachel, who's a journalist and a freelance writer as well. She writes for magazines and newspapers, and she likes to write memoirs for people. And then I do like editing, formatting, things like that. So if anybody's looking for one, then it's just dragonghostwriters.co.uk. But we know at the minute that we're probably not going to get much.
And your friend is writing the book as a ghostwriter, and the author will use their name as they. I was wondering, how is that? I mean, how does she feel about it?
She doesn't mind, because she just thinks about the money. And if she wanted to write a book herself, then she's, obviously she could do that. It's more of if someone wants to write their life story, or if you've got a business and you think an ebook might help your business. It's not so much. We wouldn't write anybody's like fiction book or anything.
Oh, I understand.
It's more business type books, maybe self-help, depending on who the person was, because they might be, I don't know, a counselor or something like that, and they don't enjoy writing, but they have a really good idea for a book, so we would help them in that way.
I have a friend who has a job where she has to write blog posts for others.
Yeah.
So she is a ghostwriter for blogs, and I was wondering if I could do it, because it would eat me up, that I know that that is my writing and other people get the credit for it. So that is why I couldn't do it, because it would hurt my pride.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that in the past. At the moment, most of my writing is I'll have my name on it, even though it says I'm a ghostwriter. Sometimes they still let you put your name on whatever you're writing.
I didn't know that.
Or you might not have your name on it, but they're not actively hiding that you've written it. So like I could put it on my website as a proof of what I can write in my portfolio.
Oh,
I do have that.
I thought that if you write for others, then you are not mentioned at all, and you are.
I mean, 99% of the time, you're probably not going to be mentioned, but some people don't mind. A couple of years ago, I wrote for a cosmetics company, and my name's not on it, but they allowed me to put what I'd written on my website so I could show what I could write. And some people just won't let you at all, and they'll take all the credit for it. But that's just part of the job, and if that's the job you decide to do, then that's what you have to take with it.
Yes. Okay, well, I think that we will wrap this interview. Thank you so much for being here and talking with us about mental health and the importance of taking care of ourselves and overcoming depression. And those who are watching the replay, please read the ticker down there. Natalie's book is for free until Sunday. So you have 3 days still to download it. So download, because it is really important, and it is for free. People, you love free things, so download it.
Thank you.
I am so grateful that you accepted. This was my first live
Me too.
interview. Okay, so bye everyone. See you next time. Oh, and before I forget, next time on April the 2nd, my guest will be Savannah Goins. I cannot spell her name. But she is an author, and we are going to talk about burnout. Okay. See you in 2 weeks, people. Bye.